now let's get into this mess. Let's talk about Patti LuPone, bit of behind out here reading the girl. So she did a recent interview and decided to go in on a lot of people in her past relationship. She apparently talked about Audra McDonald and how they're no longer friends. She talked about Kecia Williams, I believe is her name. No, Kecia Williams was someone I used to work with at at VH1. She was like one of the producers that worked at VH1. It's Keisha Lewis. I don't know why I said Keisha Williams. But anyway, maybe I was thinking about her. But yeah, and then she also went in on Kevin Kline, who she dated, and then even threw shade at Glenn Close because she was mad that Andrew Lloyd Webber hired her to be in Sunset Boulevard and play Norma Desmond. But she gave praise to Nicole Scherzinger. I did hear that she did that recently. I think she was on Watch What Happens Live and spoke about that. She did give Nicole her flowers, but she did throw shade at Glenn Close because she got the part. Look, she's also mad about Madonna getting Evita. So, she's always been, bit a party of one and always been Crankzilla. I'm starting to think that Leona Helmsley ex character she played during season 2 of Pose wasn't an act. So 3-time Tony Award winner LuPone is known for saying exactly what's on her mind, but this time some theater fans feel she's gone too far. In a new interview with The New Yorker, which I laugh because someone said, oh, I don't believe any of this. She did the interview in New Yorker. Like, how do you not believe what literally came out of her damn mouth in an interview? You thought the reporter just made the whole thing up? I hate when people do that. It's like, some of y'all just need to just hit a like button, hit angry or whatever the emoji is and scroll on by. Don't comment in the comments when it just comes down, because you sound dumb. This was just one specific person that just irritated me when I was reading the comments and somebody was like, oh, I don't think she said that. Then who said it? The shit out her ass? She had a Mr. Hanky that spoke to her? So anyway, to get back to this whole thing, she reflected on being called out by Lewis they said last autumn. Pink News, y'all with y'all British terms. I understand y'all British people. But so yeah, last fall, Kecia Lewis got on the line and went in on Patti LuPone because Patti made a comment about Hell's Kitchen, which is the Alicia Keys play, and she was doing this play, I believe, with Mia Farrow at the time. And next door, she could hear their cues and stuff coming through the wall. So she was like, oh, that play is a little too loud. And they dragged her because they said that those are racial microaggressions. When you're sitting there talking about you're doing a little quiet ass play next door and you're on the other side of the wall because the walls is real thin. A lot of them theaters are real old on Broadway. You can hear the sound cues and stuff on the other side. That's not their issue. That's a y'all issue. Nobody told y'all to put y'all, I don't know. Nobody told y'all to have y'all show right next door to theirs. If you're doing like this quiet, talky play and you got this musical next door, I mean, sometimes I'll be at the movies and I'll be hearing the vibrations of sounds coming from the next theater over when we're having a quiet moment from the movie, but we get it. It's the theater. It is what it is. But apparently she had a problem with it. So at the time, LuPone was starring in The Roommate alongside Mia Farrow at the Booth Theater, while Lewis was appearing, as I said, in Hell's Kitchen next door at the Schubert Theater. At the time, LuPone felt the noises bleeding through the walls from Hell's Kitchen, and at the suggestion of her stage manager, got in touch with the head of the Schubert organization, Robert Winkle, to address the issue. So yeah, she was telling her inner Karen, like she always does, and was in her feelings. Yet Lewis, who was starring in the production as Miss Liza Jane, decided to upload a video to social media in which he spoke as one veteran Broadway star to another to call out LuPone's actions. In the clip, Lewis suggested that LuPone's request was bullying, racially microaggressive, and rooted in privilege, as she had deemed a black-led show loud. And that's why I said, yeah, when you talk about black shows, and I know a lot of people, y'all, with your racial blind spots, when it comes to certain situations, y'all got to watch some of the words and some of the things y'all say, because yes, we do read into a lot of things, and it's because we have to. And that's why it boils down to what that is. So yeah, when white people get to walk through the world, tiptoeing through the damn tulips without a care or without a concern in the world until it affects your bottom line, it's like, yeah, we got to be a little extra on our stuff. We got to dot out all of our I's and cross all of our T's, especially when it comes to some of the words that y'all be saying. Yes, they are microaggressions. Live it, learn it, absorb it, accept it, and move on. So we have to keep having this damn conversation. But do you think that Patti LuPone learned her lesson? Of course not, because she decided to be a little shady ass bitch and get on the line and said the following comment. She said, Lewis didn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She said, oh my God, here's the problem. She calls herself a veteran. Let's find out how many Broadway shows Kecia Lewis has done because she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's done 7. I've done 32. Don't call yourself a vet, bitch. This is what she says out of her mouth. Now, I guarantee you, your old 70-something-year-old ass wouldn't have said that in Keisha's face. Because then your lips would be beating you to the hospital. But because Patti believes that she's this veteran, she's this icon in the Broadway world, because sis, you ain't crossed over to the other side. Yes, you are everything in the Broadway world, but ain't nobody checking for you in the movies. You can't sell tickets in no theater. You can sell tickets in the theater, but not the theater, as in a movie that's actually printed and put in an actual theater like an AMC or Regal, and the box office goes through the roof. Yes, you are the queen of Broadway, but you're not. That's it. But you're not the only one, because Audra McDonald, who you no longer friends with, got you beat. And we're gonna get into how many nominations or Oscars, and Tony she has over you. But you know her privilege is showing. So I should point out this, because you're going around saying that you did what she said, that she did 30 or whatever the case was. She put out some big number. So Kecia has done 10 Broadway shows. And yes, LuPone has doubled that with 28. Or I should even say tripled, because you're almost at 30. But Kecia, if she's been doing this for a long time, because she was in the original Broadway company of Dreamgirls, just because you're not familiar with her don't mean that she's not a veteran. Because when did Dreamgirls come out? Like the late 70s, early 80s? That's 4 decades in Broadway. And yeah, just because she's done 10 Broadway shows, you've done damn near 30, and she's been doing it for decades, she is a veteran. Just because you got more numbers over her don't mean that you're better than her. She said, this is not unusual on Broadway. This happens all the time when walls are shared. So everybody goes and makes phone calls like you, apparently. Now, during the conversation, the New Yorker's journalist, Michael Schulman, then reminded LuPone that the 6-time award winner, Audra McDonald, had left an emoji on Lewis's video to voice her support, which she had a problem with. She said, I thought you should know better. That's typical of Audra. She's not a friend. So I guess she's supposed to just blindly support you. But it's like, as a Black woman, she gets it. I'm not going to blindly support you because we're friends. Like, that's not how that works. And she said, and she probably felt like she was being intentional about it. She said that, yeah, the pair had a rift in the past. She also declined to answer a question about McDonald's revival to Broadway's stalwart Gypsy, which she is currently nominated for her 11th Tony Award. Instead, LuPone sarcastically quipped, what a beautiful day. Yeah, because you couldn't say great gowns, beautiful gowns, because then Aretha had to crawl out of her damn crypt and cuss you out. Now, online, the Broadway community is less than impressed with LuPone's digs at both Lewis and McDonald. One person said, quote, listen, I appreciate Patti LuPone and her contributions to theater as much as anyone else, but she's crossed the line one too many times. I'm tired of her actions being passed off as diva behavior when in reality she's just mean-spirited. Another added, Patti is so tactless and tone deaf, like, girl. Elsewhere in the profile, the Agatha All Alone star addressed accusations that she is a diva. She says, I know what I'm worth to a production. I know that I'm box office. Don't nickel and dime me before you put me on stage. Don't treat me like a piece of shit, because at this point, if you don't value me, why am I here? Well, I get all of that. I understand as a woman that they do treat women a certain way in theater and all that other stuff. However, you being a bitch towards other women is unnecessary. Just because your name is, in lights, and you put butts in seats, and you know what you're worth to a production, doesn't mean that you get to show up your charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, or act like one. I didn't want. I would have went there and used the C word, but I'm like, I'm gonna behave myself in this episode or in this topic. So, Patti, good, get a grip. Stop with the nastiness and the being tactless and all the other stuff. It's like, yes, you are a talented woman. You are an icon within the theater world. But this attitude of yours and the things that you're saying, well, I will say this. While it is thoroughly entertaining, and I love a little grist for my mill when it comes to, talking all this celebrity stuff, and if there's a little beef going on. I do like when the girls just be out here not trying to take the more diplomatic road. And you could have, excuse me, given it in ways where you didn't come off being like some, nasty, somebody who's just nasty and mean spirited, because that's what this story is giving. So shout out to Audra McDonald. Shout out to Kecia Lewis. I know my parents went to go see Gypsy. They told me late. And I was like, oh my God, if I would have known, I would have loved to have gone with y'all, with a ticket and gotten a ticket to go see it and stuff. So, I heard it was pretty good. I definitely want to check it out. And I'll be watching the Tonys this year so we could see Audra McDonald walk away with that Tony and stick it to old bitter ass Patti LuPone. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story on my theater people? I definitely want to hear from you what y'all think about this story. So let me know what you guys think of it in the comments down below.